Champions, welcome. The squares have aligned in bingo is nigh. It's time for Elden Squares Season 3. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, we have the last remaining undefeated team in the Golden Order. Their primary base game player is someone who is a notorious bingo hater. He used to say, "Oh, I just love the rando streets. All I want to do is fight cool bosses. Screw that bingo thing. Who cares about tactics? Who cares about nuance?" But then he has been shown the light with the Veil Break format, thanks to the main man Nartok and the beautiful community at Ignite and Sci-Fi as well. And Wander is here in the last remaining undefeated. No, it is none other than Wander, the bingo hater, and his teammate. This man is the reigning Scadu Bingo Omen Veil champion. He recently beat NPT this week in DLC Bingo 13-4. This man is on the hot streak and playing the best bingo of his career. It is none other than El Presidente Strump. And their opponents fighting out of the blue corner. We have a team that started 4-0 but dropped 2. However, they have a championship pedigree and are looking to get back in the win column here today. Their primary base game player is a man who has made some of the most absurd plays in the base game. At the start of the season, people questioned, who's your Nepo babying the modderin? I know he made the mod, but how could he, he's never been in the Golden Order. Well, all those haters and doubters have been silenced, as he is one half of Time Complexity, the number 3 team in the Golden Order. It is none other than Mr. Sci-Fi Code and his teammate. It is none other than the reigning, defending, undisputed Elden Bingo Lord, the Absolute. Now let's get ready to run that board and square off. Oh, wrong screen.
Massive.
All right, you ready to go, Piggy?
I'm ready. Let's get this.
Let's get this. Make sure lobby settings are correct. Also, Philly, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs and the hype train, man. What a great way to start off the bingo with the hype. Thank you so much, Philly. You are my goat. And here we go. We didn't see a center square, Gus, but you know it was going to be Melania from me. In looking at this board already, of course, the Piggy will give you the nuance, but I will guide you through the big fun kills on the board here. Obviously, center square is those 5 duo trio bosses. That's quite a long center square. The question is, does anyone choose to commit to it? In terms of some of the bigger kills on this board, we have, give me 1 second here sorry, the streams are way out of date. Streams are way behind.
Yeah, we have some massive kills coming here. We have Blassie, I already see. We have Valiant Garrix. That shit is always very risky, especially if people go for that early, which I think people are sometimes scared of. Bale, we have both Dragon Lords here, the two brothers fighting each other. Furthermore, we have something like Magnus, the Beastclaw, and Magnus and Altus that I always find interesting because they are, especially Logger, not Magus. Logger the Beastclaw, he's a menace. Like, he's probably he has the biggest kill count so far, I believe, from what I've seen. We furthermore have Romina, another big DLC kill. And yeah, I think that's like the big kills. In terms of strategy and potentially early game rush that I see, we have Grail without percentage damage. That potentially is a +0 square for some crazy people. I think a lot of the times getting your weapon somewhat upgraded is the better idea, since you will not lose that much momentum and tempo. We have Loretta, Blue Spirit, that could come in handy early. We have Moog Lord of Blood with blood tax in the bottom left corner square. That is a very interesting rush, as it's a very easy, quick rush with blood tax. You get a lot of money, and then Moog as all the money you could ever need. It's a big kill. I see we have Starfist. That leads me to think that your Grail without status effect might be coming.
Well, Nardi, we potentially have something very broken here, as this square is normally quite balanced. However, Starfist break the mold. Could we see blood tax into Moog Lord of Blood, Remembrance Boss, Daggers, Fists only?
I mean, it is possible, but Starfist is a smithing weapon, and smithing weapons are generally preferred by our DLC players. So I'm not sure. I think it's much more likely that the DLC players will take the square off before Moog is even contested.
Maybe not though. Honestly, I've seen it depends how much south is on the board and how many NPCs, but I see a lot of people not like smithing weapons are preferred in the DLC, but I see a lot of DLC players preferring to have a weapon that can take wild strikes and Sacred Blade over something like Starfist. As we see, Sci-Fi is the player who takes Starfist, the primary base game player for his team. Meanwhile, Wamp is doing what you suggested, Nartok, and Strump is taking the Starfist.
Yeah, I think with Starfist here in starting classes being the best smithing weapon pretty much you can have here, and therefore DLC players wanting it, I think this would be a board where I would have expected both DLC players to somewhat alter their typical DLC rush with doing Margit Godric before Red Wolf, which is not typical. But Shura and Sty said no, Strump is the only DLC player with Starfist, so he will be uncontested, I believe. But maybe instead Sci-Fi could now contest Grail without status effects much better than Strump and Wanda and Womp.
Well, I think there are options. You could do Grail without status effects. You could also do Blood Tax Ash of War. There's a few different ways you could do kind of the rush on this. I mean, Loretta would also be an option, but I don't expect either of those players to go for it. It is because Blood Tax is just really strong with the map that you get, and there's a route with smithing stones there. You also get the Lord's Rune, and of course you get closer to Moog Lord of Blood. So I would it looks like Sci-Fi is going for that. He has that square hovered. He is going for Blood Tax. That is his rush. Meanwhile, Wander is going straight to Celia. He has the more curved sword, so I would imagine that he needs levels, so probably gonna have to grab Scar Seal first, or Scar Seal first, or Sword Seal. Which one is it? Sword Seal, right? And then after that, he will go and probably do Grail without status effects. This is a square that Wander does like to rush. Currently on the season, it's happened on 2 of his boards already, and he has a 50% success rate. Got it first try in his first game, and then in the last game he did die once, but I think he learned a lesson there and got the throwing daggers. He had some very unfortunate RNG as he was fighting like 3 dragons at once, and that's how he went down. But we will go full screen with Strump here to start the day, as he is in on Margit.
Yeah, I would hope Wanda is not doing this +0 with Zamur. I know the Frost helps, but I think that's why I'm not the biggest fan of doing Grail +0. And then, like, even if you get it and you snipe the person who upgraded, then you are behind on upgrades and you get 1 square for it. And I feel like these first 25 minutes, progression is everything. Getting 1 square is not as big as progressing your character and your map progress.
Honestly, I would tend to disagree. I mean, I think the only reason I would consider not doing it +0 in this situation is because Blood Tax is also on the board, right? And that your opponent very well could be going Blood Tax. Blood Tax is probably it's the rush that I see a lot of the base game players practicing the absolute most. That rush is very important because of the map progression that it gives you. especially with Mogor to Blood on the board. So I'll be curious if Wander does do this, because one thing that is so crucial in the base game is getting that first big kill in Influx of Runes so that you can level a little bit of health. Even for the best players in the world, which these guys are, right? There's a big difference between being one shot and being two shot, like a massive difference.
Yes, not being one shot is everything we need as players. Like, not being one shot enables you to do so much more, to be so much more relaxed and take so much more risk, and therefore be faster.
Yeah, as a prime example, look at Nartok last season, who almost threw a game against Stako as he went from Mogor to Blood, his favorite boss in the game, and had to do it hitless. And well, you got it done eventually. You didn't choke.
But if I'd weren't one shot, that would have been a first try. So don't be one shot, kids.
Man, Wander's going really greedy. This could be tactical because he knows that Sci-Fi really practices the rush squares a lot. He's like a Nexus. And Blood Tax is a square that Sci-Fi has practiced a lot. So I wonder, we might have to ask him after the game if this is like a meta read by him saying, I think Sci-Fi is going to go Blood Tax 100%. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get as much greed as I can, upgrading my weapon potentially, as well as getting Grail without status effects and maybe even Radahn's Great Rune.
It could also be an anticipation of weapon. Like, he gave Strump the Starfist, and he is aware that Psy potentially has Starfist, which he would then easily lose. But Blood Tax not necessarily, but Moog. Like, he has no chance of getting Moog if he is Starfist against Zamur. So this might also be a read on that.
And Shura, as is tradition, fails the Royal Academy skip the first time. He always fails it once. It is as is tradition. Yes.
The pressure now of the people shooting him will make him succeed.
Yep. He got it the second time.
Of course. That's
it's
how it
still,
works.
if you have to quit out once, it's still faster. If you have to quit out twice, it's not.
Strump also I think Strump thought that he's racing this. There's no other reason why he would do this unupgraded, if not.
Yeah, I think if you're going to go for this, you need to push it, right? Because I think the likelihood of racing this is really high, and Strump's in a lot of trouble here. Oh my. He almost joined ASIM as the second player in Golden Order history to die to Godric.
Who was the first one? I don't really. Someone died to God.
ASIM.
Oh, wow! I really forgot that. Oh no, that's embarrassing, ASIM.
Yeah, if you look at his player profile, only player to die to Godric in a Geel.
I mean, that's impressive in the bad way.
No, I think it's impressive in a good way. He's just doing a service to the community, reminding everyone that these players are the elite of the elite, but they are still human. As we do see Remembrance Boss Dagger's Fist only marked for Strump there, so that also gives them a lot of information because they know Strump is the DLC player 100%.
Yeah.
So they now know that Strump went Starfist.
Correct.
Yes, Dagger, you are the only player to die to a mosquito. That was horrific. I still am in pain from that one. I've never recovered. Shura here is going in on the Red Wolf. A fight that is, you know, at this, like, they've done this a million times, but he hits hard, right? And stuff can always go wrong. We've actually, I think we've only, if my memory serves me, I think we've only seen one Red Wolf death in Golden Order this season.
Which
is actually pretty impressive. Like, I know that these players practice this all the time, but that's a fight where it's just a testament to how much they practice it, because stuff can really easily go wrong on Red Wolf. I know you have good damage because it's normally done with a +6 or +9, right? Or somewhat upgraded weapon, right? I know you have good damage, but he hits really hard. They normally don't have a lot of VIG, right? It's not like killing, you know, especially for these guys, like just getting a Red Wolf kill like that is the most impressive thing in the world, but it's definitely not free. And I think the level of consistency from all our players over the course of the season is something that needs to be commended.
Yeah, for sure. Like, this format is absolutely brutal. one mistake and you are mostly one shot in the early stages. Like in half the time of the match, pretty much you are close to one shot. You have to get that big kill, which is always very nerve wracking, and then you'll be much more relaxed. But getting that big kill cannot be understated how difficult that is.
And Wander is going for the full greed, upgrading his weapon. You know, maybe he's listening. Nartok, are you sending him DMs? Are you telling him what to do?
Yes, I am. I'm actively cheating.
We will go full screen with Sci-Fi here on Magmore Makar as he gets in a little bit of a trouble here early. By the way, chat, let me know. I know Nartok's audio quality is not the best because he's on his phone. It's kind of weird to balance. Let me know if he's too loud, too quiet, or it's good.
With Makar, pretty much this fight is very one-dimensional, like not that much skill expression. I think the biggest skill expression in Makar is how good you position yourself to stop his charge with charged heavies.
Yeah. The one fight where I think there is quite a bit of skill expression on oh my god, he's dead. Oh, how did he live? Oh, this man has cheated death. This man has cheated death.
Using the invincibility frames of getting knocked down perfectly there. Absolutely calculated by the boy Sai.
I say he's cheated death. Nartok says it's calculated.
Yep, it is.
And very nicely done. Regardless, he does get through it. Probably a big sigh of relief after that one. Because again, like same thing with Makar and Red Wolf, right? Like it's not the most difficult thing in the world for these guys, right? They've done it a million times, right? You have good damage, but very easily to get caught in the soup or hit and then caught in the soup and die. Also, that Verdigris armor did work for him. With worse armor, he very well could have just died initially.
Yeah, that's true. You never really notice how much armor does until you live with one. Another play I see here on this board is this middle square. 5 duo trio bosses. Has some interesting synergies with stuff like Altus bosses and Kaled bosses. For example, Altus, you have the Miranda Omen Killer duo and the Treescent duo right next to each other. That is very much good synergy. Kaled, you also have very quick access to a multitude of duo bosses. So I think that might come into play here later.
Yep. Now I want to ask you a question. So assuming there's no death, right? Shura will know that he has a lead on Strump for the DLC rush. If anyone's new to Elden Squares Bingo, you're saying, hey, this is supposed to be base game plus DLC bingo. How the hell are they getting into the DLC? You just need to kill any 2 Remembrance bosses to enter the DLC. Any 2 will do. Godric or Nala is the 2 fastest. But normally you would want to upgrade your weapon first to make those kills faster. Obviously, Strump was rushing Dagger's Fist only, so he will be slower. Shura knows that he will get to the DLC first, assuming there are no issues. What do you think his opening play will be when he gets to the DLC here, Nardi?
Shura's?
Yes. With the knowledge that he should get there, say, 60 seconds to 2 minutes faster.
Yeah. So he would probably, as pretty much everyone does in DLC, I think he will try to set up his weapon first and foremost. So the question for that is always, will he go Reprimand or will he go for the Red Bear and the Forge, that area? I think since he will be comfortable and secure with him being first in DLC, I see him going into Rao Base to the Red Bear area and doing the full Forge for plus 25. Because this has very nice synergy with Legendary Spirit Ashes and with Wolfline Hippo. And also further down the line, he then has the higher upgraded weapon, which helps him in all the DLC squares. So I see him entering Rao Base. I would assume his first mark is probably... It might actually be Legendary Spirit Ashes. I think he might actually be... he might actually be cocky enough to do Legendary Spirit Ashes and still see himself ahead in DLC.
Yeah, and a great question asked there by NatPat, like how do Time Complexity know that Strump is the DLC player? So first off, they technically don't know for sure, right? Any team can make a switch, right? Every team has a player with a primary role, right? for the most part, every team has a certain primary DLC player. Ashura is in a lot of trouble here on Moongrum. Does get away from the guy though. But every team does have a primary DLC player in terms of just what they practice. And also players can see who marks on the board. You can't see it here on chat. It's not up there, but they can see, they'll just see sci-fi code marked acquire blood tax Ash of War at 1244. They can see that in the logs on the board. And that being said, we've yet to see it yet this season. But there are certain teams, you know, particularly one that I look at is Ellie and Helios, right? Where both their players are really strong in both roles. And they could switch it up, right? So Ellie's their primary DLC player, but there could be a game where they switch it up, maybe to throw off the opponents. I will say, with these two teams though, I don't think that they would switch it up. I think they're pretty specialized in their roles for this team. Some of the teams do have more switchability than others though. The chat does not believe you're alive, Nartok. Are you alive?
I have not responded to maybe like 2 messages or something. I forgot, and then it's awkward because I forgot. I see it like a week later, and then I don't know. And I wasn't like on Discord or anything that much, so my friends are missing me. Sorry, guys.
We have 2 big fights here. You know, I'm really curious. I find this interesting here by Wander. So looking at this here, we have Shura going for Renala to finish his DLC access, and Wander is going for Radahn. He set up Feroth, and I would have personally assumed that he would just go and do Grail without status or without percent-based damage. However, he's going to go kill Radahn first, trying to really greed for both Grail without percent-based damage and Radahn's Great Rune. There's a chance, though, that Sci-Fi could snipe this, maybe? It depends where he's going. No, he's going to get 4s and maybe also progress towards Radahn. Because I will say Radahn is pretty valuable on this board. We have Radahn's Great Rune as well as Valiant Gargoyles and Duo Trio bosses, which potentially that is Duo Trio boss synergy on the Valiant Gargs. Wander gets hit very hard there. And Shura is not having the greatest Renala fight. He's out of heals and does get it down, but Trump will make up a good bit of time most likely because that was not the fastest Renala. And Wander also gets that down. So both players get their fights down. No deaths yet today. But yeah, Wander's going really greedy. And if he's able to get away with all of this, it will be very, very, very strong.
Yeah, I think Radahn also has the benefit of like going toe to toe with Sai with Rune. Like it's not as much as Smoke, but Radahn at least gives you a decent amount of Rune. A good Rune ejection makes you strong, and therefore you can keep up with a potential Moke kill later down the line. So I think Radahn is a really good option here.
Yeah, especially because there comes a point where like you have diminishing returns with your runes. Obviously each level becomes progressively more expensive, and once you hit like 40 Vig, it becomes a lot less useful, right? Vig being the most important stat. That being said, the talisman shop is very important as well. We're actually gonna go full screen with Wander here. We'll say goodbye to Strump. Bye Strump. As Wander is doing Grail without percentage-based damage here. Basically, that's you need to kill 5 baby dragons and then hit Grail once in the head.
Yeah.
If anyone's used to the old square, it used to be without status effects. And Strump is in trouble here. Strump gets clocked. But yeah, it used to be Grail without status effects, but we changed it to percentage-based damage because Black Flame exists and is not, technically not a status effect.
Jesus Christ. That's why you need Vigor for Renala. This bitch can just full combo you and then you're dead. Like, look at his Vigor bar. If he had a little bit less, insta-death.
If anyone's curious why people do Red Wolf and then Margit, then Godric, then back to Renala, it's you do Red Wolf first because you want Cold Attunement. And then you want to kill the Margit and Godric to get Vig for Renala because she is a bastard. But Strump gets that down, and now he will have DLC access as well. And honestly, Sai is potentially walking into a snipe here on Radahn's Great Rune as he is going for Radahn. Let's get our 2 base game players up on the screen. He will still get value out of this, especially in the sense that he will have access to Valiant Gargoyles, right? But assuming that Wander goes grow without percentage damage immediately into restore, that will be a very strong opener from Wander here.
That is true. The one thing that has to be mentioned there, even if Wanda were to snipe restore after getting this square and Sai pretty much having nothing, right? It is not action nothing. He got a remembrance and underground access, and especially the remembrance I find interesting because if he gets sniped on restore, Sai could just, as his next square or his next action, do Moog, and then minute 25, 26, they could have 2 people in DLC, which could be very strong here.
Yeah, my only concern will be, I guess, I would say that the grow without percent base damage will put a threat on row number 2. And I think that's kind of an awkward row to block, right? Furnace Golem is a pretty big time sink square. A lot of players don't like doing it, right? Kill 5 bosses in Altus has, I mean, Wormface is technically a little bit of a synergy for Physic tiers, and that is about it on this board. As Wander does get this down, and Sci-Fi's in trouble. We'll go full screen with Sai. Oh, he whiffed. All right, he does get it down. Very nice by Sai. But yeah, that row 2 is a little awkward to find a block because Furnace Golem is definitely not a square that people love going for because it is quite a time sink. Kill 5 Altus bosses with no synergy. You don't want to be forced into that. Yeah, I guess you could get duo trio synergy out of it, as well as yeah, duo trio synergy. Like you can make it work, but it's not great, right? And then obviously Bale is normally one of the last squares on the board.
Yes, he is way too tanky. You don't want to do Grail early.
Wander here is struggling with this skip. I hate this. Do you do the skip, Nardi? I'm sure you do.
Of course I do the skip.
I hate this skip. I hate this skip. I hate it so much.
The skip looked way worse than it actually is. Learning it is not that bad. And this still saves time because those ladders are very slow. Okay, Strump actually choosing to also do forges here. That is, I think, an interesting decision that I'm not entirely sure I would agree with. I think since you have this insanely broken weapon and you took a hit in your early game speed with getting the square dagger fist only, I would have liked myself if I were Strump to do Fort Reprimand and get the plus 18 only. And then later on, maybe after 1 or 2 squares in DLC, maybe then get the 7s by Garu.
I think assuming you're playing a normal player, I would 100% agree with that. Just to play devil's advocate a bit here, I will say, I think particularly against Shura, especially given his tendency to hold the hell out of squares, you might be able to get legendary spirit ashes off of him if you go for it hard. Like it's very risky because you know you very well could be walking into a snipe, but Shura just loves to hold squares, right? He does when he has prio. It's a big risk, maybe too risky, right? But you really it is a lot more realistic because this is where this point in the season the gamesmanship comes in, right? These players know each other's tendencies, right? And there's kind of that element to it.
Of course. The problem though is that legendary spirit ash doesn't necessarily generate immense value besides 1 square. And if Strum were to take legendary spirit ash under Shura's eyes, like he just steals it away, I think Shura is so confident in having complete dominance over the map progress in DLC because Strum was later in DLC and he did a square that didn't progress DLC that much besides the upgrading. So I think chasing legendary spirit ash would be a misplay here and give team time complexity way too much information.
Well, we will see what our guys decide to do here. Sci-Fi is going ahead and upgrading his weapon. Shura is making his way towards the hippo. This will get him a DLC boss, a bear boss, or a hippo boss, duh. And as well as access to Viaduct, you automatically get the Viaduct Grace unlocked to accelerate progression a little bit through Shadowkeep. So that will allow him to make his way to Romina a bit easier.
Yeah. Psy is going towards Moog. I like this a lot. I think something like Psy doing Moog and then targeting something like Column 5 together is a great option because both Furnace Golem and Ancestor Knight bows and the Ancestor Knight, the Ancestor Troll Knight and bows is a square. Both are squares that are not necessarily always done early in DLC because they can be done right away, but they don't progress anything. So a lot of times people hold off on them. But if Sai is second in DLC, Shura can just tell Sai to do them for him, and then column 5 might be in order.
And Shura here is in on that hippo. Let's see how he does. Very nice stagger there, good start. And Sai also is going for Moog Lord of Blood. Strump's actually making his way towards the Ancient Dragon Man. This is the one fight where Starfist is really sucks in the DLC. It is not fun against ADM or other NPCs for that matter.
Yeah,
but
I think
ADM being
is actually one of the better ones.
Yeah, he's one of the better
stuff
NPCs for sure, but still NPC fights are where Starfists have a huge weakness, right? And ADM is just so important, right? In DLC, as Shura goes down to Needles.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
That is so unfortunate.
A very unfortunate death.
His advantage.
Yeah.
His one death is massive.
And we're going to go ahead and bring it to the dual screen. Well, actually, no, we're going quad screen. Bottom right, Sci-Fi going for Moog Lord of Blood. Top right, Shura going for that Golden Hippo. Top left, Trump is going for Ancient Dragon Man to get south access. And in the bottom left, Wander is going for the Okina Invader Square. A lot of action early on today. You love to see it.
Yeah, this very exciting. Look at Sai's Vigor bar already. This Mo kill will give him so much damage because he can pump pretty much nearly all of the money into damage.
And DLC access on a board with, with 11 DLC squares.
Yep.
You could definitely go and sneak some value. Wander's having a lot of trouble here with Okina.
Okina is a bitch. Fuck Okina. Whoever made that square, fuck that guy. Oh shit, it was me, right? Nah, fuck.
Yeah.
Shura goes down to Hippo again. Very unusual incident from Shura here.
As Sci-Fi does get Okina down, Trump is in on ADM, but Sci-Fi is Moog Lord of Blood phase 2, so we're going full screen with Sai here.
Make me proud, Sai.
He did amazing damage in phase 1. Got him down to like 25% before the heal.
Yeah, this weapon is broken for Moog.
Nice little lock off there.
Oh, nice miss.
And I think there's a lot of pressure on Sai here, specifically because Shura's having some uncharacteristic issues with that Golden Hippo, right? Like, it kind of puts a bit more pressure on you because it's like, hey, I gotta play well for our team, right? Give my teammate a chance to bounce back in this game, right? We can't fall too far behind.
Yeah. Can we by the way acknowledge how ridiculous fucking ADM is right here? How is ADM as slow of a fight as Moog?
Because he's
That's
ADM
crazy.
with Starfist. Trump does get down ADM, and this should do it.
Yep, that's it.
The
Very
coming
nice fight from Sai.
of our dynasty, Morgwin. Very nice fight from Sai. Really, really nice fight from Sai. Yes, Wander killed Okina. It's early. ADHD meds are probably kicking in about now.
English is hard.
English is hard.
Speaking is hard.
And I think Strump's going for Egon's Furled Finger.
That is peculiar. I guess they want to pressure the road 1, but
As Shura does get Hippo
working
down,
on
we're
the
going to go full
block.
screen with Strump here for Egon's Furled Finger. I mean, it would put a lot of pressure here on that row. Actually, both rows, if I'm being honest, because Egon's
Yeah,
Furled Finger, because it signals clear priority on Bale, because A, you're already farther up the mountain, and B, you can actually use the Egon summon, which is quite helpful in that fight, unironically.
Yep, and Wanda is already going to Loretta. They want to force Shura to not sit on prio. And that's something I like to do too, is sometimes force people to stop sitting on prios. And I think Wanda and Strump are doing that with Shura not. Shura will not be allowed to hold wolf, hippo, bear bosses.
Yeah. Especially for Shura, because he is at his most dangerous when he's like, his playstyle is very much like set up right in, you know, hold squares and try to generate snipes and play, you know, really tricky kind of bingo, right? If they are able to make Shura play a much more honest game, so to speak, I feel like that obviously he's still an incredible player with his skill set, but tactically it really nerfs him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's always my philosophy in bingo, is to make the way to play bingo is to make your opponent as predictable as possible, and forcing people like Shura to stop holding squares is one of those aspects of just making them predictable. So I think Wanda and Strump are portraying a really good understanding of who their opponent is and how to tackle this.
Yep. Meanwhile, Wander does get down Loretta there. By the way, Jagged Peak Drake does not count as a duo boss. It is one boss. Just there's an extra enemy that's an asshole, if anyone was curious. But that is that done. Now Strump can go ahead and claim Egon's Furled Finger here. Dude, that was risky doing that jump R2 jump with the Starfist, because if he got a double hit, he could have aggroed Egon and then yeah. So there goes Egon's Furled Finger. Shura here is in on Ancient Dragon, man.
That wouldn't be a problem. It's base plus DLC, just a tone.
Yeah, I mean, you can atone, but that would suck. Yeah. In DLC bingo, you're just locked out. At the very least, you can atone, but
Yep.
and actually both Sai and Wander here are going downstairs into Radahn's hole. If Sai is able to snipe something like Valiant Gargs, like, you know, 6-2 game, obviously is a, you know, 4-score lead is a significant lead, but not, by no means is it game over, right? And if they were to be able to generate a snipe here on Valiant Gargs or something, that would be pretty significant for time complexity as they look to come back here.
Going underground now, though, seems very peculiar to me. Underground is not that high density of squares anymore. Like Valiant Gargs is there. Valiant Gargs is a duo boss, but that's about it, really. There is also a legendary Spirit Ash, but it's not that highly packed with squares and synergies. And squares like 5 Altus bosses are so insanely important right now, and no one even doing a single Altus boss seems. See, I would assume that these players think the other team is already working on it and doesn't want to run into a snipe.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like for Wamp Wamp, it might be a situation of that's a long square anyways. They might already be working on it, right? I think, honestly, one of the reasons why Wander in particular might be going Gargs here is because he feels like it's a very safe square, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he probably does not expect that Sai's killed Radahn, right? You know, he clearly marked Prio on it with Radahn's Great Rune. I think this feels pretty safe for Wander, right? And as if you're up 6-2, as long as you can continue to just get squares at a good pace, don't get sniped, right? Just consistently get squares, you're typically good, right? Not always, but typically.
Yeah.
As Shura here is going in on the red bear. This will be his third wolf, lion, bear, hippo boss.
Yep. He could finish it out with either the rune bear in base game or with another red bear, either the NPC or another red bear boss from DLC for DLC bosses.
Oh, as Shura has the little bear in there. Hello, little bear.
He's T-posing menacingly. Oh, it's getting involved.
Oh, that threw a spanner in the works there for Shura. For sure.
Another square I find interesting on this board is the duping square, because both Shura and Wanda are Shura and Strump can anytime go down to the duping station. It's just who kills the remembrance in the DLC first.
And there are two on the board, right? With Lion could not be one, but real probably would be in most cases, as well as Romina. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the 5-time champion Bulls Carrion Knight. Ooh, very, very, very tough fight there for Strump. Great job, dude. Great job. That was a very difficult fight for Strump.
Yep.
Very impressed. Very impressed. Great work from Strump today. Ashura is, well, just wild striking Dane. This is why Wild Strikes is so good in the DLC, and why something like Starfist has fallen out of favor a bit, because yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think Wamp until now had the better strategy and better square decision making, but I think with this Warped Axe that I've seen plentiful in Omen Vale, I do like Size and Shura's weapon setup much more. I like the Wild Strikes, Warped Axe in DLC, and Starfist in base game. But Womp have displayed great amount of strategic thinking, therefore being up a lot.
Yeah. And we got a Garg's race here. Sai has to win this race, right? Like, obviously he has the better weapon for it. He's there first, right? But if he were to lose Garg's 8-2 with no bingo pressure, no real threat, is pretty chalked, right? Like 7-3 is a lot more manageable.
Yeah. And Shura seems to be doing Shura things of now holding still, even though the bingo is one square away, he's holding the wolf, lion, hippo, bear square and is going Renala for another DLC boss in the duping square I mentioned earlier. So yeah, Shura, if Strump doesn't take anything away, Shura will probably mark 3 squares in the next 5 minutes.
Meanwhile, Strump here is going towards Legendary Spirit Ashes.
Yeah, that square was completely discarded by both DLC players. Like, no, you do it.
I mean, I think Shura is just hoping to hold, right? I think this could be maybe we're seeing, because like they're down a lot in this game, right? And it could be a thing where Shura is just trying to be even more greedy with his with the holding priority. As very nice job getting Gargs down there for sci-fi. But if Shura is being even more aggressive with usual with holding priority, right? Trump is just like, screw it, I'll go get the squares, right? Why not?
Yeah.
And honestly, at this point, I think Legendary Spirit Ashes is fairly valuable in that it blocks one of the very few bingos remaining, as well as gets them one more square, and they will only be 5 squares away after this from winning this game. The first team to 13 points wins. Each bingo square is worth 1 point, of course, and then you get 2 bonus points for a bingo line. As Shura is now in on Rilana, Twin Moon Knight, looking to get another DLC boss and a remembrance that he can dupe at the Finger Ruins.
Yeah, another player just saw that Shura is not going for, but that I think could have been a good comeback play for them, would have been after the Hippo kill, going through Ancient Rao, picking up the Exaltation, not the Exaltation, I mistook the square, but doing Romina for the duping square, and then getting pretty much 2-for-1 on the row 3 as a potential counter bingo.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if he needed to be more aggressive and go Romina rather than going Rolana. It's kind of a tricky thing because it's like, well, you're down, right? So it makes sense to be kind of incredibly aggressive and try to go for as much synergy as you can. But on the other hand, like very high probability you get sniped there. So it's a difficult call to make.
It is. 100%.
Especially because I would...
Legendary Spirit Ash taking row 3 and the Diag is the only 2 bingos left. So I think Team Time Complexity potentially needs a bingo to come back here with the deficit they're facing.
Oh my god, and Shuro went down.
Wow. Very uncharacteristic of Shura.
Yeah. Very uncharacteristic from Shura here. Well, I mean, is this the storyline building up into the playoffs if these teams make it, right? Is Trump the new absolute, the new reigning potentially Strump and Wander, the new reigning defended undisputed Elden Bingo Lord? Trump did get the better of Shura in the finals of Scadu Bingo Moonwalk. They went head to head in the finals, right? Trump is playing the best bingo of his career. Shura making some uncharacteristic mistakes. Are the tides turning? Obviously, it's one game does not call it, but depending on how the rest of the season this plays out. Sorry, Omenvale, not Moonwalk. Is that one of the budding storylines?
Yeah, regular season always has to be somewhat taken with a grain of salt, right? It's not always the end of the story. Playoffs is where it's at. Playoffs is where the nerves are the highest, and where the boys become the men.
Yeah, you especially with any champion of Elden Squares, like that's such a hard event to win, right? In like claiming that title, right? They're the reigning defending undisputed up until they get eliminated from the event, right? Especially these players who are champions, right? They have that champions mentality, and it's not over until you got to remove them from the event until to get them out there. Like one bad game, they're a champion. They will bounce back. We will go full screen with Strump and Shura, because Strump here is looking to potentially take Wolf, Lion, Bear, Hippo.
Yeah. I think if Shura goes for Rune Bear right after this, he should still get it. The thing that I'm concerned with, again, is the lack of aggression from Team Time Complexity. Sai doing a lot of non-duo trio bosses for the Kaled bosses here, while Kaled has so many duo trio options. I think Sai could have possibly done 4 duo trio bosses than Kaled.
Yeah, and I will say, Shura looks a little off. Like he's that strafe on that. I just call it like a sword dance. I don't know what else to call it. I've seen him do that a million times, right? Like he died once to it and has gotten hit multiple times.
Yeah.
There he gets it that time.
Yeah, I mean, it's daily form is very true. Like, you can't always play your best, and maybe this is just not the perfect day for Shura, but it's not over until it's over. Team Time Complexity still has room to play here. They just gotta start playing aggressive. They are behind, so they gotta bounce back.
Yeah, Shura does get that done, but I think this is a pretty big. Not only is this a big win, but if you saw the game last week, right? Wamp played very well, but they got away with one last week, right? Like Asim and Nexus had one hand on the win there, in Wamp stole it from their grasp, right? Bouncing back and getting another win, getting a win over Sci-Fi and Shura here, especially if it continues to go as dominant as the way it is, right? Is very much like, yeah, we're very real. We're very real 5-0, right?
The one thing I do want to mention right now, even with the score being how it is that Sai still is the only player in this game that has both DLC and Altus. Therefore, he is currently the only player able to complete squares such as Exaltation Talisman, Logor and Magnus, and yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, but he is the only one able to complete these squares, and if Wamp is not careful, those squares might make or break the game.
And all of a sudden here, we're going to be looking at a much closer game as Shura is about to mark Wolf, Lion, Bear, Hippo, right? As Strump goes down to the Hippo again, the Hippo has been the #1 op, I think, in the Golden Order. It is the new Godskin Apostle and Caled.
Nah, that is not fair. Godskin Apostle and Caled, that was one, like, we avoided going there a lot because he was so scary. Hippo is the #1 op because of the frequency people have to go to him. Hippo is like the gatekeeper of DLC. But yeah, he is the #1 op of Golden Order because there's so much stuff behind him, simply.
Yep, so there goes Wolf, Lion, Bear, Hippo for Shura. And he's now probably progressing his way towards Romina. This could be a situation where we maybe do see a Deathbite Lion as they might need the aggression, right? And Strump here is going to be working on that Furnace Golem.
Yeah, and Wanda is working on Altus bosses. Roll 2 is very much real.
Yeah, because they're going Altus bosses and Furnace Golem, and at this point, row 2 would win.
Correct.
They're 5 points away from winning, and 3 squares plus a bingo would do it. If Wanderer gets Altus bosses and then Strump goes Furnace Golem into Bale, that's GG's.
Yep. Yeah, that's why I really was hoping for Sai at some point to take Furnace Golem away or go Altus bosses, like either or, but him not doing any of those feels wrong.
And
feels like an oversight.
By the way, Nartok, can you believe how fast these games are now?
Yes, I can. I played a lot of 2v2. 2v2 always becomes such a insane fast game mode, and the only way to make 2v2 slower pretty much is by making it more boring, more running around, and no one wants that.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm just, like if you look at the average pace of the game, like week 1 games are probably averaging like 115, 110, right? Probably closer to 115. You'd have to go look. But now it feels like games are probably, we see a lot of games under the 1 hour mark, like multiple games under the 1 hour mark.
Yeah. And guess what happens when you put 4 of the best players in the world in one game of completing 25 objectives, huh?
And Shura is going for Bale. Shura's going Bale.
It's about time. He has to.
Yeah.
But he will lose this race, I think, even with the advantage he has against Egon.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
We'll have to see. His wild strikes actually is a big factor potentially on the long windows that Bale gives you when he's staggered. Wild strikes actually is very nice.
Well, the greatest Bale fight I've ever seen was from Asim with Starfist. He absolutely obliterated him.
I know, I saw that. He completely fucked that guy up. There goes Furnace Golem. Yeah, like
we have a Bale race here. This is a Bale race. This is a Bale race.
More Caleb duo trios. Like, you could have done this before, Sai. What is happening here?
This Bale race is everything. Literally, it'll be game over. It'll be game over. This
is also redemption
Wanderer,
for sure, right?
Wanderer
does not have the best game here. If he were to now snipe Strump, even though Strump has Egon, that would completely shift the game, get the Diag actually on the board, and redeem all of the mistakes he has done before.
Yeah, because Wander's about to mark Altus bosses in just a second. So if he, not only would it redeem him, but it literally will just stop the game. It would be game over if Strump kills Wander, or if Wander kills, Strump kills Bale, if Strump kills Wander.
Is everything. Because Sai is also doing duo trio bosses, right? Like, so if Bale goes for Wamp wins. If Bale goes to time complexity, the Diag is one square away from being realized.
Yeah. So true. So true. And we've seen this team make some big comebacks, right? Particularly in week 1. Time complexity had snuck out a win over Old But Gold in a very fantastic back and forth game. And here we go, chat. We have Bale. We'll go back to the full. We'll go to the full screen, or back to the dual screen when Strump enters the fight. We're gonna go full screen with Shura now. Curse you, Bale! I hereby vow you will rue this day. Behold, a true Drake warrior, and I, Egon, your fears made flesh. Sword of scale as you might be, foul dragon, I will riddle with hold your rotten hide with a hail of harpoons, with every last drop of my being.
Yo, someone give Ankus Matt. Jesus.
What's the grade on that? What's the grade on that, Piggy?
Voice acting? That is a 10 out of 10. Mental sanity? So that's a 2 out of 10.
We take those. This is live streaming.
Now Bale going into phase 2. Yeah, if Shura has a clean Bale here, I don't think Egon can make him catch up.
Yeah, and I do want to point out Wander is going Worm Face here, so he's also doing Physic Tears while doing Altus bosses at the same time.
That is very smart.
And we're going to go to the dual screen here as we do indeed have a Bale race. Trump has Egon and has higher DPS potential, but with those Starfists in that stubby range, it can be harder to pull it off. He's a lot of damage potential in theory. Getting it in practice is much more difficult.
Shura backed to the wall. This can be very scary with bouncing fire.
Shura and his team, Time Complexity as a whole, have their backs to the wall.
Yep. Now or never. You have the laser move coming out. Can Shura dodge this?
You're so far behind. He died. It was clean as shit.
Hey! Who's fucking out? Why is your stream? That's all on you. Why is your stream behind?
Oh, and Strump goes down. Strump goes down. So at this point, he will have no chance to catch. We're going to go full screen with Shura for as long as this fight lasts, because Strump will not have any ability to catch at this point. Shura's too far. There was a chance, but Shura's too far into the fight at this point.
Trump going down with Egon summoned. Omen Veil DLC champion, huh? Jesus Christ, bro, it's washed.
Shura gets the anime move once again. God, my voice is a wreck after that speech.
Yeah, and Sai, I think this is potentially a Diag bingo. Sai has first movers advantage, as we like to say, because he got the duo bosses before Wanda got Altus bosses. So if Shura doesn't die here, I think this Diag is unstoppable.
It depends how many Physic Tears Wander picked up early, right? He did Worm Face, right? If he has been kind of prepping it earlier, there's a chance, but yeah, Sai has a pretty big advantage. Sai's at 6 tiers right now. I mean, 15's a lot. Like, routing's gonna come into play as well. You know, how good is your routing for this square?
Sai also has Dectus, so even depending on if he got the Grace after Dectus, or like if he has to take Dectus down, he has a very nice path to the Avatar and the Urnia that gives free tiers. No, that was not Side. That was Wanda. I'm misspeaking. Wanda actually did deck this, so that might come into play.
And
for him.
Shura gets bailed down. There it is. So Shura gets bailed down, and now this Diag is a very serious threat. And hold on here, folks, because if they get this Diag, it is 11-10 for time complexity. This would be the first lead of the game for this team. They were down, I think, as much as 5 squares early on. It was 7-2 at one point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7-2 at one point. Actually, 8-3 at one point.
Yeah, this Diag is pretty much the win because Shura has Romina and the dupe in the bag, pretty much. I don't think Strump has any chance of getting either of those.
I believe this would be the big. Is this the biggest comeback all season? We saw an 8-3 comeback in the Crucible. I believe this would be. I don't think anyone's come back from a 5-score deficit so far this Golden Order season.
Especially with something like Bale being the snipe that turns it all around while not getting Egon, right? That is another factor in this comeback that is kind of crazy. Like, Strump never was planning on losing Bale.
Yeah, I mean, and he's probably. I wonder how much he's kicking himself because, to be fair, I don't know that if he never dies there, it would have been interesting to see if he could have won that race, right? I honestly don't think he would have, even if he never died. But it would have been pretty close. Like, you can't say for certain.
Yeah, and the Diag is dead, by the way. Wanda has given up. He's going Capital now for Exaltation Talisman, I think. That seems wrong. I think it's a better play here to go, of all bosses, go Classy. He already has the Grace after. Yeah. Go Classy and then do the DLC Exaltation Talisman.
I will say I've seen a lot of people go for Esker, Lank, whatever his name is, Esker. It's been a lot more common as of recent, but yeah, like I feel like at this point it's just too slow because you need to just get squares on the board as quickly as possible. That being said, though, I guess the question you could ask yourself is like, what is Wander's play, right?
I would say it's Classy into Exaltation with the DLC Exaltation.
Yeah, but the thing is, do you even have time for that, right?
Not necessarily. I mean,
they're gonna if Sai gets Physic Tears and then they just need 2 more square, like Shura and Sai just need 2 more squares, right?
Yeah. The other idea for Wanda could have been a quick Godric to get DLC for Logar Magnus and for the Exaltation Talisman.
Yeah, I think honestly a quick Godric for Logar Magnus might have been the best call here, because I would imagine that's the square that Sci-Fi goes for after this. The problem with Exaltations is I don't think you're sniping in. Like, I don't. In what world are you ever really sniping anybody, honestly? And if you are, it's not that painful of a snipe. As if Sci-Fi has an Exaltation, Sci-Fi may already have an Exaltation with Kindred of Rots, right? Yes, NatPat, it is just first to 13 points wins in this format. Bingos are just bonus points. First to 13 points wins. And Sai is only 3 Physic Tears away at this point. Trump is going for the Dancing Lion.
Yeah, the bingo is happening. Shura again completely showing his perfect understanding of timings. He could have done Romina into dupe and potentially got sniped on dupe, but he went all the way to Romina, is now duping, and is then doing Romina.
Yeah. Yeah, if anyone's curious about the scoring, to give credit, this is the same. Obviously, the format and everything is very different, but it's the same scoring rules as Bingo Brawler Season 2. Or Season 3, sorry. The first time they did a 2v2 season. They switched it up for Season 5, but that was what we copied. And Strump dies to the lion there. Dude, it's like Shura was bit by the yips or whatever you want to call it, right? Like ball wasn't going in the hole, right? For Shura at the start of the game, and then it just feels like he just handed that debuff off to Strump. as Shura was having a lot of issues early, and then he's been perfect ever since. And then Strum started having issues, right? We're going to go ahead and go to the quad screen here as we go for the end of this game. Trump is working on the Dancing Lion to tie this up at 10-10. But if Sci-Fi is able to get Physic Tears here, that will bingo and bring them to 12. And then Shura, the absolute, as if there was any doubt, can end this game with Romina. Yes, you cannot. Bale does count as a remembrance boss for this format, but you obviously cannot dupe it.
Sad.
And there goes the bingo. There goes Physic Tears. And this is now for the game. We will go full screen with Shura. He is the reigning, defending, undisputed Elden Bingo Lord. He is the absolute. This time complexity was down 8-3 at one point in this game. They had their backs against the wall. But if there was a doubt, the absolute has found a way. And Shura and Sai have, despite all odds, put themselves in a position to win this game. Halfway through the broadcast, that stupid idiot commentator Hoosier was talking about, is Strump taking Shura's throne? Is Strump now the best player in the world? But Shura here has a chance to put all that to rest, improve his class, and also take the O away from Team Wamp Wamp, as they will go down and every team in the Golden Order will have one loss.
Yeah. Very exciting stuff. This would be the first season, I believe, where no one had a perfect season, perfect regular season.
Correct.
Very exciting.
Oh, wait, no.
Very
Well,
exciting. That's
not true on technicality.
Season 1 or what?
No, last season, because Helios lost to Ginger, right? And Nexus, everyone lost last season. Nexus lost to you.
True.
Shura lost to Nexus. Helios lost to
right.
Ginger, and Strump lost to Helios.
Yep, that's correct.
But definitely, I think the earliest that it's ever happened, right? In the league is the most wide open I feel like it's ever been.
Yeah, very unpredictable who will be in playoffs and even like who takes it all, right?
Yeah.
It's very open. It's very open. Did Trump die on Lion again? I swear he was like 1 HP.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. My Omen Vale champion.
And Shura is about 2 hits away here. One more. And they have done it. Time complexity has crawled back from the pits of hell. They were down 8-3, 40 minutes into this game, and they go on a massive run to end this game, highlighted by a Bale snipe, and it is Time Complexity who gets the win, ends their 2-game losing streak, and evens up the year in probably the best comeback win in the Golden Order so far this season. What a game. And by the way, shout out to Rambler. He predicted a 13-10 win. I don't think he imagined it this way, but it's how he did call it. Shout out Rambler.
That's why he's the professor. He just knows stuff that we don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna give these players an extra second, and also I have to pull up Nartok's picture here.
Yeah, please do.
There we go. There's the pig. All right, the pig is here.
Perfect.
But yeah, what a game. What a way to start out this week of bingo. We have one more game coming up after this. That game will be, excuse me. That game will be Thomas and Niebe versus Lemon and Cronies. And then we have 3 games tomorrow starting at 2 p.m. Eastern, so 2 hours before we started out today. And then 4 games on Sunday. Bingos are plus 2 points, and first to 13 points wins. If bingos were, especially in this format, because any player can mark any squares, if bingos were auto wins, you would see players just hide lines and try to pop them as fast as possible, and it'd be a bit of a mess. But let's go ahead and bring our players in here.
Also, it's just-
GG's. Oh,
Yo.
GG's, guys.
GG's.
GG's, gentlemen. One hell of a game. We will obviously start with Shura in Sci-Fi. You know, at one point this was an 8-3 game. It looked, you were in hell. But as if there was any doubt, the Absolute and the Bingo Mastermind Sci-Fi have come through and gotten the win. How does it feel?
It feels great. Obviously, being down that much was a little bit of a. It is just weird when you're holding on to squares, because it's like, okay, I know I'm guaranteed these squares, but when you look over to the board and you see just red, I'm like, I'm like, well, maybe they could just fucking steamroll majority if I keep holding on to this shit. And yeah, so
It felt dire. It felt dire when I looked over at the board and I'm like, it's 8-3 right now. Like, we're kind of getting crushed. Like, it was pretty bad. And then, like, but I was just talking to Shura, and like, there never had like the sound of defeat in his voice. Like, we never really were like even thinking about like giving up. Like, sometimes when you're in that position, it's like hard mentally to stay in the game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I just didn't get that vibe from Shura, and I didn't feel that way. And like, when we started marking a few squares to kind of close the gap, that made me feel even more like confident that we were still in it.
Yeah,
I
because
didn't lose hope because one, my goal was row 3, or row 4. I think I wanted row 4 originally, but Spirit Ashes was a good square to secure. I just, me dying to Hippo, or me dying caused me to like lose a lot of time where I couldn't do that play.
Yeah, because
otherwise it can get Spirit Ashes, but I failed.
There were some very uncharacteristic mistakes, right? I think you died to Hippo twice. You died to Rilana once, right?
All right, the Rilana death. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I should stop trying to do that stupid strafe. I tried to like rotate around her without like rolling the spin to win move, and I got caught. And that's why I will never do that in a game again. I don't know why. It's really fun to try to do it. It's just you saw it there. I fucking got clipped, and that was it.
Well,
and then the Hippo death, though, I need to watch that back. The second one, I understand that was my fault. I was tilted. But the first one, like, I was not expecting like every needle to. Usually, I just run away from the needle attack, but every needle hit me on the head. I was like, okay.
yeah.
Like, I don't know what to do there.
Well, Sci-Fi. I mean, Sci was just rock solid, right, and able to put you in a position to get the kill, because it get that, close it out at the end, because it really felt like where it felt like there was life was when Valiant Gargs happened. That wasn't like a direct snipe, but Wander did make progress. Like, he wasn't actively going for it, but he did kill Mimic and go underground, right, and had it prepped. And it felt like
really?
that was where it was kind of like, all right, like there's some life here, right? And then obviously you clutch up and kill Bale. That was a snipe. You entered the fight first, but Strump had Starfist and Egon, of course.
Bro, I was.
I mean, you were pretty far in. You were about a third of the way, maybe a little more in. It would have, if Strump didn't die, it probably would. I think you would have got it still, but it would have been very close. Like, I cannot say for certain how that would have gone.
Yeah, I was hoping that Strump was just either gonna go for the majority play of going Romina and dupe, or Lion and dupe, or like, I think Romina's just by default good, because from there you can just run down to Deathblight Lion. So I was thinking maybe he'd go for that majority play, and I was like, I think this is the only way I get this square, because because he marked Furnace Golem, and I was like, even though I'm like all the way up the mountain, I was like, Starfist and Egon's, I was like, that shit is, I was like, I'm gonna get cooked if he gets up here.
Yeah, well, I got 2 more questions for you. First, when did you guys start to think about the Diag? When did that come into your mind as like, we can get this?
What was it?
That was when he was basically going to Bale. He's like,
Yeah. Yeah, when I was
strong mark
I
furnace
was
golem.
running to Romina, and then I grabbed the. While I was running to Romina, I was like, wait a second. I was like, I kind of fucked up because of my dance and stuff. I fucked up by not already. I told Sai that the row 2 was going to be blocked by me by Bale or Furnace Golem, and I didn't do Furnace
Yeah.
Golem. And I was like, fuck. I was like, I need a. So like I grabbed that grace, and I was like, well, we're gonna have to push this diag, and I think we can get it because I don't think Physic Last Tears was on the radar.
Mhm.
Not really. No.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, because yeah.
And my final question before I talk to Wander and Storm, because I do want to talk to them, because I think particularly their opening was impeccable. But
Yeah,
this was a huge game for you guys, right? Because looking at the league standings, you are currently in third place at 4-2, behind Tank or 5-2 now, but coming in you were at 4-2. Tank and Top were 4-1, but they also had the tiebreaker over you, right? In Wamp we're 4-0. If you guys were to compete for a first round bye, right, this was pretty much a must-win game, as you would have been 2 games and the tiebreaker behind Tank and Top and Wamp. I think it would have been impossible, almost mathematically impossible, for you guys to get a first round bye with a loss today. But obviously you get the job done, and with 2 games left in the regular season, how are you guys feeling?
Hey, the goal is to win them both.
Yeah. I'm happy because I feel like just with the amount of games that we're playing and the playoffs being expanded to like 6 teams, I think we're with 5 wins you're into the playoffs, so it kind of takes the pressure off of the last 2 games. But I obviously want to win, and I think today was a big win. Like obviously Strump and Wander are crazy, they're undefeated, every game they've played just insane, right? Like there hasn't been, it doesn't seem like they make mistakes, which is annoying, but they're great competitors, but it's just a big win because we were coming off a 2-game losing streak too. So I felt like we were crushing it 4-0, and then I started to kind of lose it. So my attitude right now is I'm just less pressure, and I feel like we can play good, we can play bad, but it's nice to come back to not. I feel like I didn't play like shit today. That's all.
No, you played great,
I
and
feel like I did good.
Congratulations to both of you. It was a pleasure to call the game. And Wamp, I want to talk with you guys because obviously, I know it didn't go your way, and it kind of fell. The end, it kind of fell apart there a little bit. But the opener for you guys was absolutely brilliant. Wander, you were able to get so much value out of the opener. Did you know for certain, based on tendencies, that Sci-Fi was going to go blood tax and you maximized around it, or was it just kind of a circumstances thing?
No, I thought it was the best play, and I felt like I could get it faster.
Well, fair enough, and you did it. That was an absolutely beautiful opener by you guys. Of course, I know you take your first loss, but you're still an incredible team. Obviously, still sitting on top at the top of the league despite the loss, which so you can hopefully there are no tears, but you can dry them off with your first place standing. Any word from you guys about this game?
I mean, like you said, I think our opener was good, but I think in the mid to late game, I made a lot of incorrect calls, and my execution wasn't there, and the game kind of slipped away because they made good square choices that brought them back. I think that's kind of the story of this game.
Yeah, Sure and Sai also just play really weird. Valiant Guards was the most surprising. It was a good call, but it was the most surprising mark for me ever. So that just really caught me off guard in the base game. I was pretty lost after that got marked.
Yeah, that was something that Nartok was like, why is he going for this? And I was like, well, he probably thinks it's a very safe square. And at this point, it's they're up big, just get safe squares, right? So yeah, I can see why that was so surprising, because Sai did kill Radon pretty much when you were doing Grail. So that was
for
where
me, for Gargs was Radon was super strong on this board, Gargs is a duo boss. Gargs gets me 3 Physic Flask tiers because there's Third Church, there's Spiked Cracked. It makes my build stronger. So, and I just wanted to undermine the Radon play. I felt like Moog and Radon were the 2 like strong base game player things.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Well, GG's.
Oh yeah, it does. No, it was a good play in the end. It was just crazy ballsy.
Hmm.
You could say
Is
it
it
was
possible
Starfisty.
Is it possible that
Yeah, I have Starfish strike damage. I melted
Like-
them.
Oh, my weapon would have melted them too if
I
I were
wonder
just
if,
going for it.
because early on I did think about the column one, and like after Sight does that, immediately run to Grail. But I was like, bro, it's just like it's like a toss up because one is a remembrance boss and it gives you access to Gargs later, and it's a Kaled boss. Well, if you go up there, yes, you take Grail away, but you still get restore easily.
I think he also would have
And-
lost it too, if I'm being honest.
Really? Did he kill Radon by then? I don't know. I don't know. That's what I was asking. I
It
don't
would
know.
have been pretty. Maybe I'm wrong. It would have been pretty close.
That
Yeah.
was another play I thought of doing, but I didn't feel confident in it, and so we went with the safer option of just do Radon. I honestly thought you would hold Restore, but it was nice that you went Grail into Restore. I thought you were just going to do Grail and hold it for a bit, but it makes
Yeah,
sense.
it didn't really feel like there was a need to, but obviously after hearing the plan, it probably would have been fine to do it.
No,
I think
no,
Go
no,
grab guards.
no, because if you hold
Here.
Restore, I think you
Hold
lose
up.
it. It's possible, you know.
Lovely. The
think it's a good
conversation is
play.
devolving to too much tech, so we all.
Okay, Gotcha.
I want to thank you guys. First off, thank you guys so much for watching. Piggy, thank you so much for joining. To the players, thank you so much for playing. It was a fantastic, beautiful game. What a way to start off the weekend. Obviously, Wander and Strump. Do you guys have another game this weekend? No, you don't. You're just one this weekend. And then we're gonna take a short break, and we will be right back for our next game. Thomas and Yebe versus Lemon and Cronies. We'll see you all very soon.